Hi. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. How are you?
Good. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kelly.
So, if you don't, oh, I love your dream catcher.
Thank you.
Um, if you don't mind, I would like to talk about more than just Bigfoot because, as I
Okay.
said to you, my field is the spiritual field, and
Yep.
I do Bigfoot research on the
Yep.
side and alien stuff and all that, right? Because I feel like it's connected.
It is.
So,
Yep.
I would like to talk about all of it, if that's okay
Okay.
with you.
That's
Okay.
fine. That's
All right.
wonderful.
Great. Great. And, you're the expert in the field of Bigfoot, so I have
I
questions.
don't really, I know, I really don't think anybody's the expert kind of thing.
Well,
You know what I
right.
mean? I know what I'm talking about, and I believe I'm an excellent researcher, and I really kind of, know, I feel I know what's going on in the world, but it's hard to explain to people because a lot of people are like, it's an animal or it's this, or, they're set in their own ways. And it's a
Yeah.
lot different than my vision. And I do see, Kelly, I do see invisible spiritual beings.
I
Um,
know. I love
I
some of
can
your
find them
photos that you
all the
have.
time. I walk down the street and I see them. And
Yeah.
and it's really hard for me. I've had breakdowns over it for 2 and 3 days, not understanding what's going on with me. Um, but I see the entities, and I say entities because it's, to me, it's, I have Lakota blood in me, and I don't know if you want me just to talk about that on the interview. Um, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the connection. I've learned a lot from my ancestors, and to be open with everything in the world and to accept things, and it put me at a better understanding, you know. So I don't know if you want to talk about that as well. I don't know. It's really hard for me a lot of
Yeah.
times because of that, because I really don't have anybody I can reach out and go, hey, oh my God, what is going on in my world? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
it's
I'm that person.
yeah, it's hard to do that. You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
I'm
It's hard
totally
to
that
do that.
person that you can reach out to and do
Mhm.
that with
And I,
because
I
I get
try to
it.
explain things to people that I've learned, and because I used to be a TV celebrity, and I was very famous, and I retired, and I went to Solemn Island, and I seen giants there, and that's how this all started. And me and another friend seen giants, and I came home and I just soaked myself into all the research I possibly could for
That
hours.
was the
I mean,
beginning
six
of your
hours a
awakening.
day. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. My friend took 264 pictures, and a few videos, and I just sat there tripping out for days and days and days, and freaking out. And then I met an architect man, and he studied pyramids and giants. And at that point, I buddied up with him for a little bit, and it just progressed from there. My learning did, and my vision, and starting to accept things in certain ways. And when I did, it opened up more doorways. I'm a weird person, Kelly. I'm a weird person. And my grandfather was Lakota, and my grandmother was Italian and Irish, and my mom studied Catholic religion. My grandfather didn't go to that church. He didn't want nothing to do with that. But my grandmother did, and my mother did, and her sister and brother, and I
Hmm.
just couldn't get on that level. And
Yeah.
it just didn't make sense to me, things they were telling me. And I'm no offense to anybody. Um,
Right.
and,
Right.
and yeah, so I tried things in my other way. I wanted to learn, and I had an experience where it was abduction for a little bit, and I had an abduction experience in Arizona, and then from there I just started doing weirder things. I preached.
Weirder
I,
things.
I
Yep.
yeah, I was 40. I was 47 years old, and I looked up, and there was a UFO thing hovering in the backyard, and I always wanted to have kids for my mother to have grandkids, and that never happened. And I tried my whole life until that day I prayed to that UFO. And when I did, everything changed in my life. And I prayed up to that little spaceship thing flying around, asked for a baby. The girl smacked at me like, "You're silly," and she got pregnant. And
Uh-huh.
about 6 months later, she told me to pray again, and because we were having a hard time with money, and I prayed again, and we won $100,000.
Oh, wow.
And then I prayed again a couple of days later, and we won, and then we won $50,000 two times on scratch offs. So that's
Wow.
who I prayed to. That's who I pray to. And it's to me, I'm not praying to the aliens, I'm praying to the star gods. And
Mhm.
my ancestors talk a lot about that, praying to star gods.
Yeah.
And so that's what I do, and it works for me. And I have all these other crazy things that happen to me in my world. So just to fill you in where
Right.
I'm at, Kelly.
Right. And just to maybe help fill you in a little bit, because my world is to help people connect the dots.
Okay.
And you are actually what I call a star child,
Okay.
a star seed.
Yeah.
Um, I also am a star seed. I feel like
Okay.
we volunteered to be here for this particular time in the world for all of the changes that are happening. We all have things in common, like Native American bloodlines and Irish bloodlines
Mm-hmm.
and beautiful things like that, right? We all find that we're very interested in things like Egypt or Atlantis or the ways of Greece or even Asian cultures, right? We're very drawn to these old indigenous ancient cultures because it's part of our DNA.
Yeah.
And so you say weird, and I understand your perspective because for a very long time I felt very weird
I
and
mean,
alone
it's weird
too.
to other
But
people. It's
absolutely,
so
to the
I get these
quote
problems.
unquote
Yeah, I
normal
get these things,
person,
Kelly,
right?
that go through. Yeah, yeah, I get things go through my head. Like, it's weird to people, and it would have been, to me, it's normal now, and to where it was really weird dealing with stuff and having this happen to me, and it was, different then. Years ago, it was different, man, for me. It wasn't
Yeah,
like it is now. I,
yeah,
I, I it's so bad now to where I don't know. I hooked up with this Daryl Denton guy, that's a Bigfoot guy, and Ron Moorhead, and we were going to make a Bigfoot movie. So and I found pyramids. So we took
here.
these pyramids. We took these pictures of the pyramids and the videos, and we turned them into architect people, and they came back positive.
You mean
So
like here in America?
yeah.
Yeah,
So these pyramids also have entity creatures walking around on the bottom,
sure.
not
Mhm.
normal ones. And so we were going to go in there, and I'm going in peace, and I'm going to ask to be able to see that. And if they don't accept it, they don't accept it. I'll turn around, but we're going to make a film of it. And so we have that going on right now. And with that going on right now, I don't know if I've tried to communicate with the entities because they come in my house.
Yeah.
This is another thing. So this is why I'm telling why it's kind of all connected to me, because it's one to me, and it's the
Mhm.
spirit world. And they connect with me. I talk with them. I tell them when they're bothering me in my house because they want to be noticed. They want me to see them.
Mhm.
If I act like I'm worried, then it continues to get worse. If I act like no big deal and just talk to them and just go about my business, they quit. Um,
Right.
Now
And
there
and
are,
it is, excuse me to interrupt you there, but it is very possible and within our will to say to
mm,
them, "Listen, you need to back off and just give me some
yeah,
space,"
and when I do,
right?
it does help. It does
Right, but
help.
a lot of people don't realize that.
It does
So I
help.
think that
So,
was
if you
important.
yell stop, then they realize they're there, and that's what they're trying to do, is show you they're there. And I know a lot more to it that I can talk about, and but now I have them to where I leave my home. I'm having communications with them, and I don't tell people that much because I don't want to freak people out about me or anything.
Yeah.
And but I'll go outside, and I had an incident where I went outside, sat on my porch, and looked down at the ground, and there's a creature sitting there, and then one appeared, and then I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, I'm going in the house. And I just kind of giggled to myself and get up and walk in, And I thought, wow, maybe I should have just sat there and let that go a little bit longer. I don't know. There's little things that are happening to me I don't talk about or tell people, on Facebook or anything like that. I see the creatures outside my house now in the trees, sitting on the
Mm-hmm.
ground by the trees. I get in the car the other day and I drive to the store and I come back, and I live in northern Wisconsin, and I have this orb of the car about 20 feet in the air in front of me come down and stop along the sides of my windows of my driver window and the other window. And my windows are open, and they hover right there flying with me as I'm driving the car. And then they moved away a little bit, like back up this way, sideways a little bit, but they stayed with my car. And
Yeah.
it was for about a mile, and then I got home, and my I couldn't breathe through my nose. My nose is still acting a little bit up, like how you get like a dry nose maybe. And then my eyes
Yeah.
burned really bad, and my nose started bleeding, so I went to the hospital the next morning. um, they drug tested me, of course, because of what I told them I seen. And the drug test came back negative, and they said that to me. So I thought, okay, you guys are being smart asses. So I showed them a couple pictures. They were amazed. Then I was in the hospital, the sheriff came down there. I live in a small town, and he questioned me because he said there was other witnesses. So I'm like,
Really?
oh my God, what the hell did I cause or start? And I'm thinking, and I come home and I'm like, I know it was all my fault because they were doing that to me, and I don't know. They try to show me things in certain ways. And I know they can communicate because I've learned a lot about things, and I know some of them can speak English, and they can communicate. It sounds demonic or whatever, but you know,
You
they're
mean Bigfoot type entities?
yeah, or yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm getting around my house, and
Yeah. I've
I'm like,
heard their language also.
yeah, mm-hmm.
And from a distance, it's like it sounds so totally normal, like regular English, yet you just can't quite make out what they're saying because they're
I've
in the
seen
distance.
I've seen to where I walk down the road now, Kelly. I'll take a walk because I live in a little town. It's Hayworth, Wisconsin. It's a little town, cute little candy stores, cute little like Mayberry town. So I'll go for a walk down
Nice.
the street, and I got my phone on me, and I'll walk down the street, and I might make it about 30, 40 feet down the street. And on one side, it's natural forest, and I'm butted up around that. And as I'm walking, I see the two of the same trees, three of the same exact trees, and I stop and look at it like, what? And then all of a sudden, I can see the vision of a creature standing there, just standing
Mhm.
there, man, like looking like a dinosaur head or an alien head. Um,
Yeah.
I've took pictures, and they let me take pictures, and they don't try to bite at me. They just look at me, and so it's really weird without trying to, coming home flipping out, and then I try to take the picture so I can at least go, look, man, this is what I'm seeing, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And because it's hard for me, and I've got him looking like an alien head, 20-foot big head coming between the two trees, and I'm taking a
Yeah.
picture of it, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they come at me in different ways, different forms. Some of them look like humans.
Yeah.
Some of them look like an alien or a creature or a little kind of person. It's weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I kind of think
Yeah. Well, I,
so.
I
So
think you're actually seeing multiple types of
yeah, and then
different
and then so
species.
I've actually went into this little spot I have, and the I've seen powers that they can do, just energy powers, man. I've seen them form out of a tree into a being,
Yeah.
where I could send you pictures and it just blow your mind, that I don't even share because I'm afraid people are going to look at it and go, what the hell? And not
Mhm.
understand it. But it's forming a creature, and they can
Yeah.
go in the trees, come out of the trees. They can take the whole tree, like the leaves and the branches, and create theirself in that. It's wicked.
Mhm.
It's supernatural.
Yeah.
It's like Mother Earth. It's, I don't know if there's bad ones, and I've heard there is from my heritage, and bad spirits and good spirits. And these guys aren't hurting me. They're not doing
Right.
nothing to my family. So,
Right.
but making me crazy a little bit, thinking, oh my God,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
because you have to constantly kind of check your
Yeah.
reality,
And I
check
will,
your
I will,
status, your
I'm
mental
a
status on
peaceful
things like
guy.
that.
I don't hunt. I have
Yeah.
dogs, and I've always had dogs my whole entire life, and they're always my babies.
Yeah.
And I feed them regular food, and I'm just this lover. I love all nature. I feed the squirrels, the birds, the trees. I have trees that I've planted. I'm so with nature. It's crazy. And I will actually, when they do that and pop out of the trees and start to, it looks all, it scare the hell out of you, some of the shit I see. And I just say, I love you. And it's just like a peaceful, it's weird. It's
Yeah.
weird. I tell them in my house I love them, and
Yeah.
I love you
But
guys,
the
man.
thing
Please let
is,
me sleep tonight.
yeah. But the thing is, if we truly embodied our Native American heritage or even our ancient Irish heritage, right? And maybe Italian too. I don't really know a lot about Italians. But if we embodied that, then we have that love and that reverence and that respect for all things, all living things,
Yeah.
right? Because
Mm-hmm.
my grandfather also
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
Native American. He was Cherokee,
Yeah.
and he taught us that you don't take more than you need and you
Then
always
you
try to
need,
put back
yes.
twice, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Yeah.
So he taught us great reverence and respect for all of nature, right? And I feel like even with the like tree spirits, right? Or we talk about the knock on wood.
Yeah.
That's a thing from our past, our ancients, our
Yeah.
ancestors, where they would talk to the tree spirits and stuff. And
Yes.
you're so open that you're able to see beyond this fourth dimension that everyone else has been programmed to think we're inside of that box, right?
Yeah. And it's
They're in the
there, right?
box
It's
and
all
you've
around
opened the
us.
box.
And
Cause
what's
yeah,
crazy, Kelly, is they could be killing everybody in a second. We would die in a minute from there's
exactly.
no way you could fight these things. There's no way
Exactly.
you could kill them. There's no way you can, it's not going to happen. I mean, the government might have something to do that, but it's
Mhm.
not going to happen. And I'll walk down the road, Kelly, and there will be 20 footers, maybe, 20 footers, 17-foot tall creatures standing
Yeah.
in the woods at the edge of the woods, almost like they're guarding the fucking woods. Sorry.
Right.
I'm
No,
just
yeah.
saying, and I'm like, and I'll snap
Yeah.
pictures of them in one day. Plop, plop, walk to the next one, plop, stop, plop. I ain't kidding you. And I'm like, if they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me while this car is driving down the road. Snap, you know
Right.
what I mean? And they don't do
They
anything
don't.
to me. And I'm like,
No.
okay, I'm not getting around their babies. And I know everything's protective over babies.
Yeah.
Bears are, every animal's protective over their babies. We're not allowed to be, by our government.
Right.
If somebody fucking comes to hit my kid, I'm gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So, it's these creatures, obviously, the supernatural entities, whatever, they have children, they have kids. I see them. I see little ones, and they
Yeah.
must be the kids. And that's how I assume they're the kids, because there will be one sitting there and there will be babies all around it. So I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa. So yeah, we better start your show. We're gonna sit here and talk and talk and talk.
Oh no, we're
I
doing
just wanted
great.
you to get to know
Keep
me and what's
going.
going on in my world. It's crazy. It is.
Yeah. And I can
it's
understand, that when we feel alone in what we experience, it does seem like it must be crazy. But for me, it's a perfectly normal world. So what you're telling me doesn't seem crazy at all. you
okay.
know.
Okay. I mean,
I mean,
I'm
I
new to
work
it.
professionally as a psychic medium
Okay.
because I talk to dead people. I see dead people all around me, right? Because they're not really dead, right?
Yeah.
Our spirits of our loved ones are still around because the soul is eternal.
Yes.
And if they have a message for someone, then they know that I'm open. They just pop in and tell me. So
Kelly,
I get it. I totally get it.
I've took my sister out to my spot. She had cancer, and they healed her. They
Oh
healed her.
yeah,
They wanted me to have her shut her eyes for 5 minutes, and she shut her eyes. She was scared to do it, and they healed her. Um, there's different things these entity things are doing that I know they're not against me, and I know they're not upset at me, and
no,
that would be the worst thing in the world that I could possibly do. And I ask them all the time, "Am I doing the right thing?" And to me, it's like they want me to tell people they're there and try to make people understand that we have to
yeah,
accept this. And if we don't accept this, then they're not going to accept us. And pretty soon, they're not this ain't going to be hid anymore. They're coming out everywhere. They're coming people's
yeah.
backyards. People are getting pictures. Oh, they're always blurry. They're blurry because they're not here,
Because
man.
they're an energy,
Yeah, it's
right?
a
They're an
spiritual
energy.
world. Yeah,
Yes.
it's a form of energy, and
Yes, and
and
with the
it,
technology
yeah,
that we're getting these days, it picks them up better,
yeah,
and the veils are thinning between us
yes,
and them to allow
yes,
that to be seen and shown to more people who are, semi ready for it at least.
yes.
Because
I'll
I
go.
don't think that people that totally are in denial against the spiritual world like that, I don't think that they really have like those type of experiences or an encounter with a Bigfoot or UFOs or any of those things. I think that's why they don't get to see them because they're just not even a
Mhm.
little bit open
Yeah,
to
I go
believe
to
it.
my spot, and I the other day, and I'm like, "What's going on? Where are you guys all at?" And I put my hands up like that because I wasn't seeing anything, and I thought maybe something's wrong with me. Did this just go away from me now? I can't see anymore. And the trees all started to close in, and this one that was about 40 foot tall shaped into a Bigfoot creature. And then down by its crotch, this head came out that looks like maybe elk or something, but huge. I'm talking 20-foot head
Wow.
coming out of its crotch. I'll send you the pictures. It'll
Okay.
blow your mind. I can't really share a lot of things with people because I'm like, they're gonna think I'm wacky. You know what
Right.
I
I
mean?
love your orb pictures that you have that's on your Facebook page. Those
Yeah.
are fucking fantastic.
They
I
come to me.
love them.
I'm got some kind of connection going on, and I almost feel like I'm some sort of receiver, like I'm an antenna, and they're trying to
Yeah.
communicate through me.
Yeah.
And if I ask for something, it's like I get it. But I don't ask for much because it's just like how they tell you don't ask for God, don't ask for much.
Yeah.
And to me, these are my God. This is the God I know. I
Right.
tried the Catholic, I tried to pray, I tried to do all that. Nothing ever worked that I knew of. But when I
Yeah.
reached out to them and opened up, and it was like my world changed. It was anything I wanted. It was, I want to be an adult entertainer. Boom, I was an adult entertainer, Kelly. And I was Pervy the clown, and they gave me all kinds of porn star awards, AVN awards, and I never took my clothes off. Never. So it was
Right.
like it just things worked for me. Anything I wanted. I'm like, I want to be a TV actor. TV contacted me. I've been on TV for 11 years. They put that comedy show Pervy on the TV. And I also been in a Rob Zombie movie and a couple of movies from some other directors. I mean, it was great. I
Yeah.
lost my parents at an early age, and I turned towards the star gods, the spirit gods. And a lot of people don't understand, and they do have it in them, and oh, okay, you know, my mom passed or my dog passed, and then when you put your hands together and you pray and you're like, I love you, Skippy. You know, I hope you're okay. I miss you so much. You're praying to the spirit world. And when you pray to the spirit world, that's opening up to this, that's saying you know that spirit world's there.
Right.
And that's what you have to do to get in that door. You have to do things like that to let them know you know they're there. And that is who, I don't know. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you to do it or anybody else, but that's how it works. And that's how it works for me. And it freaked me out because then I started thinking all kinds of stuff. You know, I have people that'll go, maybe the devil's got their hands on you and you need to be exorcismed, and you know, maybe
Yeah.
this, and they'll say all kinds of shit. And I'm like, it's not that way. I don't work in an evil way. I don't
Right.
have anything evil happen to me.
Hmm.
If you want to say somebody walking through my house that looks like a human is evil, that you know, because it scared you, well, I guess then you can think and see that, don't you know what I mean? At
Yeah.
first it
And
did, but
I feel the same way about Bigfoot and aliens too. People who have experiences with them that think that they're scary and evil, I think that's just their perception, really.
us. So let me tell you something I learned. I learned because I've seen it with my own eyes. I'm standing there and I watched this Bigfoot looking creature change from a he's standing there and I'm looking at him and there's another one appearing, just appearing out of nowhere. Um, Almost like Star Trek, how they show them, the guy pops up, he appears, and when he appears he instantly changes into a dogman looking creature, and then he has other heads popping out of his shoulder. And what it was he wasn't familiar with me. It wasn't one of the ones I do see, and I believe that he was trying to, that's how they'd be defensive. And this is how I started to learn this stuff. What they'll do is they'll come approach you while you're sleeping and they'll look like your mother or that passed away, or your you know, grandpa's was at my bedside. They can do all this, and I watched them do certain things like that. They showed me a human girl coming out of a tree, and you can see her breast. I'll send you the picture, and you can see her head. And I was talking at the time, I was talking about my family issues at home and my girlfriend, and I believe they were trying to show me her in the tree. And they can do, they're powerful, they're very powerful, and they can form like different creatures. So when everything's calm and cool, I'm going to look like a human or a Bigfoot. But you come around my babies and I'm going to form into a dog man and I'm going to attack at you and scare the living shit out of you. You'll never come in these woods again. That's how it works, Kelly.
Yeah, I
That's how
think so
I'm
too.
serious, and I have a lot of proof I could show you, because you understand, you know, that I just don't put out there because I see it and I talk about it with Daryl and stuff. And Daryl understands and Ron understands, but
Right.
it's a very powerful, supernatural, spirit world out there going on. And you have to, if you really wanted to get tight with you, you believe in the spirit world, and things will change. That's how I did it. When I gave my heart and soul to the spirit world, and I had a native friend. He was more native than me. He was pure blood, and his grandfather was a famous medicine man. And he would tell me so many different things. And my mother passed, and he didn't know my mother's name. And he was in the hospital at the time, and he got out of the hospital and came down to the mill and where I worked, and I was a chainsaw carver at the time, and I carved sculptures and stuff. And he came down there and he opened the door and said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Working. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be in bed." And he goes, "No." He said, "Matilda Marie Mintier came to see me." And tears hit my eyes, Kelly. I was just like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, what? He's like, two other people were with her. I didn't know who they were, but she came and seen me and told me to tell you everything's going to be okay. And I'm like,
Oh,
what the hell? So it blew my mind.
yeah.
So I went home 20 minutes later. A week later, I came back down to the mill. He's about 16 years older than me. He was had a jackhammer on top of a bar, barring it into the pond by a pond, to bring water up. And he was putting a new bar in. So I said, Jay, get down off that. Let me up on that bar. I said, let me up on that bar. I'm younger than you. He laughed at me. He got down. I got up on the bar. The bar now is 3 inches from the water. Okay, about 3, 4 inches from the water. So this jack is, 200-pound jack. It's dead weight. You can't just lift it up. You know what I mean? And I'm a pretty big guy. So I get up on the jack. They're holding the jack. I climb up on there, get on there. I start the jack. It falls. And as soon as it starts to fall, I look at Jay and start to yell, Jay. Before I knew it, I was in the water. Um, I come up out of the water, sit up, and I look, and Jay's friend's crying. They're older men. He's crying. And I'm like looking at him like, what the fuck is wrong with him? And I look at Jay, and Jay's looking at me all shocked. And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, a miracle just happened. He goes, you weren't supposed to die. And I'm like, what? And he goes, the jack went 10 feet up in the air and 15 feet up the hill. And I'm like, what? And his friend's going, Jay, what just happened? And his wife's running out the door and she's like, oh my God, another miracle, Jay. And I'm like,
Oh,
what?
wow.
So at that point, Kelly, I gave my soul to that man. I loved him. I fell in love with him, not in a gay way. I
Yeah,
fell in
yeah.
love with him, and he was like my mom and dad in one,
He was
and
your
friend.
mentor.
And it was just I just anything for him. I was friggin' there. I gave my
Yeah,
soul to him, and uh, I've even named one of my sons after him. And it was just at that point I came totally spiritual, totally spiritual, and I learned a lot from him. He told me a lot, taught me a lot, and that's when I opened up to the spirit world. And I believe that's what people kind of have to do in order to connect. You know,
absolutely.
I don't
Could
know.
you maybe elaborate a little bit more on these messages that they were giving to you?
Yeah. Um, I get messages all the time. They try to, it's sense of not talking, but showing me. And I have to understand it. And that's what makes it hard for me because I noticed I talked to this one girl and she was like messaged me and wanted to know some information. So I gave her a little information. I didn't tell her much. And she sent me a picture of herself. And I was trying to hook my friend up with her because she was a nice girl, but she was a cryptic girl. And she sent a picture of me and of herself. And in the background of that picture, I can see a creature in her door wall. And then I'm like, what the heck? And then I noticed her face looks a little funny right here. And like
Uh-oh.
when I look, I can see like your
Yep,
room and I can see if something's in there. This is the
yep.
messed up thing about it. I don't like it all the time because
I
of
don't
that.
know. I think it's handy
Yeah. So
because I do that
so
too,
I can
and I think it's
see
very handy.
I can see something right here in front of her eye. Just and her right here got foggy and her head. And I'm like, why does her head look foggy there?
Is she
And
a reptilian?
so I talked to this other girl that sees creatures. She claims she sees stuff. She's like, don't talk to her anymore. She's a reptilian, I think. Because
Ah, that's what I just said. Is
I
she a
zoomed,
reptilian?
check it out. I zoomed into her eye.
Yep.
And when I zoomed into her eye, you could see a creature in front of her eye right there. And it wasn't just in her eyeball, it was going past her top of her lid. And I'm like, what the hell? What the hell? And so this was the weird thing. So I tripped out on her for a little bit, told her that, you got something in your, I'm like, I didn't know how to say it to her. So I'm like, have you ever been in a near death experience? And she's like, oh yeah, this, that, this, that. I'm like, you ever been in a car accident? She's like, how'd you know? And I'm like, oh, I'm like, was it near death?
A
And she said,
walk-in?
yeah. So she said yes. And so she might have been covering this up. I don't know. And she said, my whole entire face got smashed. Why, did you see something? And I'm like, and she's like, are you psychic? And I'm like, I'm not psychic. I know, I'm like, and
Actually,
so
yes, you are.
okay. And so I'm like, what the hell? So I don't know if she was a reptilian, but I accused her of it. And I really did. I accused her of it.
Mhm.
And I'm like, it's
It sounds
okay.
like
I'm
a
like,
walk-in kind of a
yeah, I'm
thing.
like trying to talk her into just talking to me. I'm like, it's okay, I accept who you are. And if that's what you are, it's okay. I accept you, man. I'm like, I like everybody. I love everybody. I'm trying to be like that to get her just to say something. And she wouldn't part with shit. And then she sent me another picture. And in the
But she
background,
might not have known,
yeah, in the background, the second picture, she's trying to flirt with me. In the background, you can see there's a couch, and on that couch, you can see creatures sitting on her couch and on the
right?
floor next to the couch. And then in the couch, it looks like an older lady, like with gray hair, but her skin looks purple. And it almost looks like up here, like it's a casket part. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. And I'm looking at that. And I'm like, and she goes, how about now? Did you see anything in the background? And I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, now is she trying to test me like she's a government chick or something, and trying to see what I
No,
know? You
she's
know
a
what I mean?
reptilian testing
Yeah.
you.
So I'm like, huh. So I'm like, hmm. And then so I'm like, hmm. So at that point, of course, I'm like, you can just tell me. And she's like, tell you what, I'm just a fan of what you do, man. She's like, there's nothing going on with me. I feel like there's creatures here, but I don't see them. So I'm like, okay. And that was like kind of the end of our discussions.
Yeah, but she could have had a walk-in and didn't realize that she had a walk-in replacement, because that is a thing.
She
And
took a picture of her
if you were
backyard. She went outside, Kelly, and took a picture of her backyard. And I can send you the pictures. And the whole entire tree in her backyard had this big giant face just pushing out of it. You could see all these little dots it was forming. And then the bushes, they look like a gray alien was coming out of that. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is she trying to do? To see if I see this stuff? And she knows it's there? Because it was weird how she was just, do you see something now? And I'm like, you know, I'm like,
yeah, she
okay.
probably senses it, but can't actually see it herself.
Mm-hmm. I
Because I
see, find
know
out.
of some walk-ins who didn't realize that they were actually replaced. They just knew they felt different and they didn't feel like themselves anymore, even
Yeah.
though some of their memories were still there. There was like new past fake memories that were now in place also,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
where like their favorite color or their favorite movie or something would be different than what it was prior to the
Yeah.
accident. And if they were in a lower vibration, say that they're very ill or they're on drugs, like,
Mm-hmm.
because drugs and alcohol both have spirits in them, right? That lowers your vibration. So if you're
Yep.
open to that field and that world at the moment of that near death experience, then your defenses aren't as strong to keep those negative entities from entering your body.
So you want to know what I do, and just keep it to yourself. Don't like put no ad out there and post about it. Okay. But this is from me to you, because I don't tell too many people this. I've only told Ron Moorhead. And so, because he contacts me and Daryl, and they're like, hey, what's going on? Are you all right, man? You got something going on. They're trying to tell you something. I don't know if it's because you're involved in me, you'll say, and all this, right?
Hmm.
So, what I do, and I notice it works for me, because I'm a high energy person, okay? A
Hmm.
lot of things go off energy and
Yeah.
and the trees have energy, things have energy, okay? So there's an energy force out there. Okay. So if these creatures can go in the trees and just go right into the tree and be sitting there in the tree, then they have to have a strong energy, stronger than the tree, where they can just go into something, right?
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
they call quantum tunneling,
Mm-hmm.
something like that. There's other names.
Yeah. I
Um,
actually teach a class on how to do
okay,
this right now. Yeah.
okay. So hear me
Yeah.
out. So hear me out. That's
Mm-hmm.
what these guys are capable of doing. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a pinched nerve sometimes, and on my shoulder. And I
Mm-hmm.
lived in Arizona, and I bought, I had a lot of money, and I walked through this park and swap, which was like a flea market. And I bought this unit. The guy let me try it on and kind of massaged my back. And so I bought this unit and I put it on and I wore it a couple times and that was it. And I put it in the drawer and said, screw it. And like 2 years later, and moved out to Wisconsin, lived out here for almost 4 years. And about 6 months ago, I started strapping that sucker on because my back was hurting really bad. Well, when I strap it on, I thought to myself, I've been wearing that dang a thing. And I'm like, what it's doing. And looked it up. And this is what it looks like. Okay. And you charge this little thing, and it has these little things different ones you can put on to stick on you. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
you can stick it on your back or whatever. You wet these things and you stick it on your back. And it has this, or you can do different.
Yeah. You're sticking electrodes on it, right?
Okay. Yeah. So I looked
Yeah.
this up
A lot of
because
chiropractors use
I
those.
started to research myself, Kelly, because I'm
It's
like,
called
what's going on?
tins.
Yeah. So I started to look this unit up and all this shit. And
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm doing is I'm pumping electric in me because this thing holds electric. And
Yeah.
the little white thing right here, same thing as that black one.
Yeah.
And it puts the electric in these pads to make it go bzz, 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 you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's putting
Right.
it in your body.
Yeah.
So it's
Electrical
putting yeah,
pulses.
so it's putting that this is being charged
Yeah.
off the electric, and then you're putting it in. It's got a release to go empty.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Right.
body, okay, so your body is like a battery. We have
Yeah.
to eat in order to regain that energy of our battery.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm putting that on me and I can't sleep. I'm full of energy and I'm like, what the hell? I'm starting to notice these things. So I'd start to take a test on it and I would take it off and I would not wear it for a couple days, 2 days, and I'd see. And I couldn't see I could see the creatures, but not as good as I could when I wear that. And when I wear that for a couple hours in one day, maybe an hour, half hour, it's like boom, it's on. I can see everything. And then when I take that, like tomorrow, if I don't wear it at all, and maybe tomorrow evening, my vision starts to go down. I can still see the creatures, but not as good. But not as good. When I wear that, it's I can see them better. And so I started to test that and to figure if that was helping, and it is. And it now I'm wearing it for an hour instead of half hour, and I'm wearing it maybe 2 hours or 3 hours just to see what it'll do to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like,
Yeah.
man, can I go in the wall? Can I go in the tree? You know what I mean? I know that is making my body a higher energy where things are happening more. The night
Mm-hmm.
that happened with the orbs, I wore that probably 2 hours, Kelly, and I was on the phone with another dude, Swamp Guy, his name is. He had a encounter with the dog man, and he's like, "What are you doing tonight?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna run to the store, get cigarettes and pop, and I'll hit you up when I get back. And I gotta get milk." And he's like, "Okay." So I left, and on my way back, that happened to me. So every time I wear that, it seems like they come out at me more. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It's
Sure.
the
And that actually makes sense to me because you're right. The body is very
it's
electromagnetic.
weird. It's weird. I've been
And
trying to like
I
study
have
it.
found, in my study, in my research, I have found that people that get electrocuted or shocked by a very high voltage, and survive it, of course, suddenly their abilities open up more.
You should try
So
that. Since you're a higher
there,
level person like me, if you
I
try that,
own I
you're
own a set of tens
okay.
because
I'm like,
I do
okay,
multiple modes of healing therapies.
okay.
So
It
I have the
really, I
electric
really believe that's
tens.
working. I really believe it's because I can see them. And now that my
Mhm.
eyes been seeing them, and your eyes can get stronger, you can make your eyes stronger. You just have to look it
Yes.
up how to do it. And
Well,
I've
that's
done
really
that.
just about thought.
Yeah, I've done
Because
that
that's what I
stuff. And
teach. I
then,
I
yeah,
teach
and
that
then
when we change our thought, we can change our life,
hmm
because
And then
thought's
now
very
that I've
powerful.
used this and I take it off and I've been, Ron's like, wear it for a little while and take it off, man. You study yourself. See what if you think that might be doing it, let's try and see. And that's making it more stronger. It's making it real strong to where it's like,
Yeah,
whoa shit, you know.
yeah.
I don't know, it must be putting my body at a higher level, a higher energy level to where I'm receiving more or being able to see more because
Well,
I will go out walking down the road and I will see, I don't know if it's a porthole because I don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? I guess that's what people call it. But all of a sudden I'll see 20 foot of the woods stretch all of a sudden change to like a brick looking wall that the wall doesn't look, it looks like brick but more like castle brick, and then there will
mhm.
be a door that'll open and I'll watch it open and I'll take pictures, like I took pictures put on my Facebook, and I'm like, I'm not walking in there. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And when you look in the door, it's all cloudy out here where I am, and when you look in the door it looks like a beautiful sunny day in there, and it's like, so it's attracting, and it's attracting to me. Like I just want to look, but then I'm like, and then I thought the other day maybe I should just walk in there, but then I thought, no, I better not because maybe that's the metal door people hear shutting in the woods off and on. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So my life's a wreck. Kelly, nice to meet you. And I deal with it. There's nothing I can do. You know what I mean? Flip
Yeah.
out or, I ain't doing none of that. I got to deal with it. I've already been through the ups and downs, the crying, the scared to death, the, oh my God, what to do. And should I fight these things? And it's just been nothing but a laughing matter because it don't work that way. Why would
I
I
think
fight
you
something that I don't know what it is? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
I think you probably went through all of the normal responses. You know?
So it's pretty crazy, you know what I mean? My girlfriend, she, we have three kids together, and we got a 1 year old, a 3 year old, and a 7 year old, and uh we just she sees it. I show her pictures. She knows it's happening to me. You know what I mean? And so she hasn't seen the creatures outside yet. She was with me when the orb thing came down and did that, so that blew her mind. But she's okay with it. She's not even.
Yeah.
She doesn't. She's not like, oh my god or nothing. She's just like it's no big deal. And I'm like, I'm like, it is a big deal. I gotta talk. I gotta feel this out. I gotta talk about shit. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I have one sister left in my, and my family, and when I try to talk to her about it, even though they helped her, she weirds out. She, doesn't want to talk about it because it scares the shit out of her. She's like, it's all
Yeah.
like I live around the woods. I don't have neighbors for, half a mile down the block. She freaks out. And I'm like, okay, So it's hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then okay, so it's like my sister think I'm nuts, but now that they did what they did, she doesn't. She just is like, okay, but I don't want to talk about it, and I'm like, hey, well, it's a good thing, nobody hurt nobody.
Right.
One guy thinks I'm a devil worshiper, I guess, or something. I don't know. One of my fans, he's like, "Oh man," this girl goes, "That guy thinks you're a devil worshiper. He just tries to be your friend, so he can feel you out." I'm like, these people are too much. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Some,
Yeah.
you know that some people look at us like we're weird, and it's like,
Oh,
I,
oh, absolutely. Family included sometimes.
I was a wealthy, famous celebrity at one time. You know what I mean? I still get checks, so I mean, I knew
Yeah.
what I was doing. I was smart when I got into that and did what I did. And, by some kind of miracle, it must have happened. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I was already praying to the star gods, and it's really weird. If you try, things change. For me, instantly they did. As soon as I tried that, it was like, boom, here's a kid. Here's another kid. Here's another kid. And the first kid I asked for, he came out autistic, but he doesn't talk. He still wears a diaper. He doesn't walk around like he's smart. He plays with a tablet and he can work two, three tablets at once. Like where I can't. He's just like far beyond. He's like really intelligent, and he talks, but he looks at me like I'm silly. I'll do silly, but hey, let's go do this. Let's play this, and he's just like, let me be with my computer. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay. So, you know what I mean? And I know that I was gifted. I was gifted and I wanted a son and I wanted it a long time ago, but I asked then and they gifted me, man. And I tried for years, Kelly, years to have kids. And it didn't work until I was 47 or years old or whatever the hell, 46 and asked them.
Yeah.
And it was it. And then, like I said, I asked them for money, and I got money, and because I had a tight time, and then we did it again, and they did it again, and I thanked them, and said, "I love you, thank you for everything you do for us," and that was who I prayed to. I look up and pray to the spiritual world, not just the
Yeah.
UFO. It's just out this everything in the air, the spiritual world.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I get you.
because it's confusing because like a lot of tribal people will say star gods, and I was a famous carver in Michigan for 11 years straight, won number one carve petition, and I carved sculptures, native sculptures, all kinds of stuff. So I've done like I want to say seven different tribal native tribes. I've done signs for their reservations for them, and they've had big old parties where they'd give me gifts and dinner, and celebrate big fire, and they give me bows they made and dream catchers and 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 stuff the natives used to cut the meat with back in the day before they had knives, tools and stuff,
Hmm.
and just stuff that means a lot to them. And medicine bags, and I mean, they've just like filled me up with anything you could imagine. You know what I mean? The war shields, all kinds of stuff, and an appreciation. And I would question everything I could out of him, Kelly. Everything, everything. Um, who do you pray to? What da da da? What do you think about the humans and or the white people and this and that? And they would tell me, the white people, a lot of them are devils, and a lot of them, greed. That's all about greed, and the system is bad that we have going because of that, and that how a lot of us destroy things. We destroy Mother Nature, Mother Earth. We destroy, and they tell me, and they pray to the spirit gods. You know,
Yeah.
and I was like, these guys are right on the money because these white people are lying and shit. They lie about history. You know what I mean? And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? So I was getting it right from the sources. And I'm like, what do I, this, that, what do I do? What do I, this and that. And they would, a lot of them would know I instantly had native in me. Or, one tribal, the Mohawks thought I was reincarnated. A native man took me to the tribe because they wanted a sign, and he big guy. These Mohawks are big, and he's a big boy. He thought I was reincarnated, and I'm like, yeah, we laugh about it, and I'm like, no, I do have Lakota in me, and he was like, okay, But he's like, you white, you white. And my beliefs are not how the United States believes. You know what I'm saying? Um, it, I'm not down for that. I'm more of a spiritual man, and and they tell me shoot for the moon, and you might not make it to the moon, but you'll make it further than the other person. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I tried that career and it went boom, just like that. And I'm like, wow. It's that's those people didn't lie. And a lot of them told me a lot of things like, I know the true meaning. This will blow your mind. The true meaning of totem pole, what it really stands for. And everybody tends to make their own stories up and, oh, this, that, because I think so. So I'm going to write this about it or that about it. No, the totem pole. Let me explain something to you. The natives knew these beings were here, and they knew it. They lived out there with them. They knew the beings were here. And so, how would they tell that to American people that were already poisoning them and doing all kinds of fucked up shit to get rid of them? Oh, there's beings out here. Get rid of these guys even worse. They're crazy. They're nuts. They didn't, you know what I mean? We've already, a lot of Americans think they're wacky, the natives, and they're not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Uh, and the natives, they didn't tell a lot of things. The totem pole was a representative of Mother Earth, of the spiritual beings that are here, and they would carve eagles and bears and stuff, that all these creatures that do walk out there spiritually into that tree. And I have pictures of like I have a couple pictures a native man gave me, and it is a tree and it has all these creatures embedded in it. And then, of course, I nowadays I see it myself, and I have pictures that I took myself, and you can see the dog man creature in the tree, along with an alien looking creature, along with a Bigfoot looking creature. Next one up is another creature. It's what that's what the natives were trying to show and cherish. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So there's things out there that they don't speak about, that they don't want, because white men are just, not only white men, just the people are going to be, I can't blame it on the white people. The people, will think they're wacky or nuts, or, you know what I'm saying? Oh, there's creatures out in the forest. Okay. You know what I mean? But they
Right.
won't deny
Right.
it. The natives won't deny it. Oh, yeah, I know a
Yeah.
Bigfoot. Bigfoot's out there. Yeah, I know. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Uh, you know,